Let's talk about this one. This was a couple years back. One of my favorite pictures. Still one of the most incredible. It's from a series of 15 pictures. This is just one of them. In all of these pictures, we had two craft that were back to back with each other. This beam of light that comes down from between them, and we can see that this beam of light actually starts higher up in the sky potentially. It's hard to say, but it's quite interesting regardless. This is when I first started taking photographs. It was quite early on. This is probably 4 years ago or so. And as we can see, we have this guy, right? And we have to understand too, these things are on their side, right? So we have this triangular ship right here. We have another ship right here. Perhaps it's part of a single ship. I don't believe so, though, because I've seen these two individually on their own. I have quite a few examples of them. Now, one thing that has to be understood, and this is a good example to explain this, is that when we're seeing these things, they are not two-dimensional objects. So this guy right here probably looks something like this. But it's on its side. So we have that shape, and then there's this guy right there. This would be the front. And this would be the back. Then we have this guy. And notice this part in the back. It's sort of like a 3. Now, this is something that I've seen quite a bit. Hence why I believe that these are two separate ships, because this back end right here is common on quite a number of these guys. And then we have the beam of light descending down from the back of this ship. What is it? I don't know. But I do know is that these 4 little orbs inside of this beam of light, over the course of these photos, progressively moved up through the beam of light. Now, if I had these other photos available to me right now, I would show it to you. I will try to dig them up. I don't know where they are right now. Anyway, one of the other things to take note of in this is this thing. What is going on there? Looks like something's actually coming from this hole, this thing that's in the center of this ship. It's very interesting. Also, something that I've seen before, can't exactly say what it is. It could be all part of the same thing. This all might be one ship. It is potential. Because what we'll see over the course of these videos is that sometimes what appears to be 2 separate objects is actually just one. And these ships that seem to have a surface that's literally alive can show certain parts selectively. Perhaps because it's easier for us to comprehend and recognize, and I do believe that these things want us to see them, or there's some other explanation to it. But there's plenty of evidence, as far as insiders and whistleblower testimony goes, that point to some of these ET ships being alive, and as such, they respond to consciousness. So, being aware of them, they know that we're looking at them, and I believe they want us to be able to see them, and part of being able to see them is being able to recognize what we're looking at. Something that's too big and too vast may not be easily recognized by our brain, which really has no point of reference, right? We can go back to the Pilgrim stories of, or the Native American stories of seeing the Pilgrims come up to the land, or the Mayans and the conquistadors. And in these examples, they really didn't know that these giant ships filled with people coming towards the shore were ships that would be carrying people at all. They have no point of reference. They did not recognize what they were looking at. And we have to understand, it's the same from our perspective. Many of us will look up there and just think clouds. We won't think twice about what else they could possibly be. But that's where the work of mine and many others comes in. So I don't think there's anything else I want to talk about in this video. But it's a pretty amazing picture. So, yay.